But that spider. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the first night of Seek Week. We are here. We've got Seek's founder, Ginny Brown, here, and also Dr. Glenn Patrick Doyle, our board director. And I'm Jean Brown. And yeah, we are here. Thank you for watching. Hi, everyone. How are you guys doing?
It's Seek Week 2025. We made it another year, guys.
We did it. You know what? We actually heard this. So there was like a statistic. I don't know if it was you who shared it, Glenn, or maybe our accountant shared it, about how many nonprofits don't make it very long.
Yes.
Like restaurants, they come and go.
Sure. Well, especially nonprofits kind of our size and kind of with our story. Like, so Seek, as the two people I'm on this live stream know more than anybody, Seek started out as a real grassroots family run operation without a lot of institutional funding. Like you guys didn't, when you guys started Seek, you guys didn't have much. You had the story. And for an organization of our size, I mean, we're a pretty lean organization. We operate on a shoestring budget with an all-volunteer board. And we also kind of our issues of concern are not as mainstream as something like Mothers Against Drunk Driving, right? Mm-hmm. So for the fact that we have been around for as long as we have, and that we continue to grow and that we continue to do new stuff, puts us, I think the statistic was like, puts us in something like the top, it's something absurd, like the top 8% of organizations our size. And it's really kind of extraordinary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, Ginny's.
Does this surprise you? Seem surprised, Ginny. Like this is.
Well, it's just been it's been hard. You know, it's been it's 16 years. The organization started in 2010, the year after Kirby died. So it's 15 years of trying to grow something and gain some traction. And I feel like that has really happened in these last 3 years. And I'm hoping that this week we get a lot of, people coming in and viewing and understanding that in order for us to continue, we really do need donations. Because without having some operational money, it's very difficult to keep moving along. So we've got links right here. If you want to make a donation, that would be great. So it's the QR code that you're pointing to, Jean?
Yeah, there's a QR there.
That was really subtle. That was
very subtle.
And then I couldn't figure out which way do I have to point. Yeah, so the QR code will take you to a donation page. You can also go to our website, find the donation link on there. Yeah, and your donations are going to things like our website, our podcast, which I know many of you do listen to our podcast, which is awesome. Yeah, so these are the things that we want to keep doing. So we're kind of here tonight to talk about the year in review, to give people an idea of what we have been doing with their support and donations. And as Dr. Doyle mentioned, we are a small organization, so there's nobody doing this work full time for Seek Safely. We don't have those kinds of resources. So as a result, we are all trying to fit this work in around, other day jobs and family commitments. But we do our best. Sometimes, we wish we could do more, but we do our best. So yeah, we wanted to go over, what we've done this year. So I'm going to actually share with everyone our another little video that just gives it's our impact statement. So we put this together every year to show what we've been up to. So I'm going to go do that now. Yeah, so we've been keeping it busy.
Even the music is so soothing. it's soothing. It's upbeat. I was
making the little videos trying to pick music. I was like, you know what? I like this today. I like this one. So
it's such a contrast to our podcast. Like our podcast music is kind of contemplative and like here's something to think about. But this was like life's good. We're doing a good job. Yeah,
life is good. And you two have done a wonderful job on the podcast. It really has been interesting. It's been informative. It's been fun. The two of you are also funny with each other. So it's kind of fun to listen to. And I think this year, our collaboration with Illuminate has been wonderful in reaching more people and really helping to create what Ann Peterson has said is really the Seek Safely movement, of really creating momentum behind what our mission is and going beyond our origin story to reach a wider audience of people who are involved in the self-help community.
Yeah, I really love that.
This is our newest board member, by the way.
Yeah.
So our newest board member, Lennon McCartney. He's decided to join us. Go on.
Very cute. Yeah. So, some of that work, like putting together the, the workshop for practitioners, it is kind of like a dream come true. We've talked about this before for Seek, in that it really is trying to operationalize, like put into practice some of the ideas that we've been trying to share with people, and really getting people, actual practitioners, involved in the process of imagining what does a safer self-help landscape look like? How do you actually put that into practice if you're somebody who really wants to do this kind of work, but just there are no guidelines. Nobody's really telling you how to do it or what to do. There are very few, if any, regulations other than basic business practices about how to run your business if you're a self-help practitioner. So we really like being able to offer these kinds of things that are very practical for people.
Mhm.
Because as we've said, many of the people who get into this industry as people who are offering something, their intentions are good. There's just a lot within the industry that tends to pull people into a less ethical position with how they run their business.
Oh, you bet. Well, and not only, I know we've talked about this on the show a lot, but not only are there not a lot of guidelines about how to do the self-help thing in an ethical, accountable way, there are lots of incentives to not do it in an ethical, accountable way. I'll tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was in New York City. I'd come out to visit Ginny and George, and I took a day to drive into the city. Ginny, you might remember this. I took a day to drive into the city because I had a meeting with a woman who had some experience. She'd been an agent and she had some experience in publishing, and she had contacted me about maybe writing a book. And anybody watching this knows that I have a famously conflicted relationship with the idea of writing a book, because on the one hand, I really love self-help books. I've gained a lot from them. On the other hand, I'm really lazy. So writing a book from start to finish doesn't really agree with my ADHD. But anyway, so I drove into the city and I had a meeting with this woman, and she was really interesting and cool and experienced and knew how to put together like a self-help book and market it and these kinds of things. But as part of her pitch to me, she had put together this packet and used examples of like, well, so this person does it this way and this person does it that way, and this person, you got to do this and that. And she had listed in this packet as examples about 10 gurus, guys, self-help that I recognize from our work and that I recognize as problematic.
Right.
And she used as examples like, well, you got to do this and whatever. And I'm kind of going, see, here's the thing about that guy. And here's the thing about that guy. And I don't want to do it this way, whatever. And by the end of the meeting, we decided not to work together because it's like, there was nothing left.
Yeah.
But what occurs to me is, had I not been involved with Seek and had I not, had any cognizance of Seek's message of responsible, transparent, ethical seeking and guidelines for practitioners and the Seek Safely promise specifically, like had I just come in cold and somebody had given me that deck, that presentation, I would have been like, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be like Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
So it really makes a difference. Like when the standard of how to be a successful self-help guy is from that playbook, like our voice is actually really important to this conversation, because the incentives are out there to not do it well, to do it in a less than ethical, accountable way.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's similar to what we've always kind of said about the consumers themselves. Like sometimes I think it's just a matter of putting the question in somebody's brain so that then when they encounter something, they go, I'm not so sure about that. I don't know if that's, an ethical way to practice. Just like I don't know if that, practitioner is offering me something in an ethical way. So it's just giving people the information to be able to ask those questions before they get pulled into it, I think is a lot of what our educational message is about.
You bet.
Yeah. And it's hard because people have to support themselves and they want to make money in doing the thing that they love to do. And it might be about helping people, but it's very easy to, slip down that slope of saying, I've got the answer and you've got to do it this way. And then if you get this much out of it, then, come to the next seminar and you'll get a little I'll get a little more. And it's that kind of stuff that hooks people in, so they keep supporting you in a lifestyle that you want. But it's not fair to the person that you're helping.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's really hard. And I understand. I think a lot of times people get kind of polluted unknowingly, and certainly not intentionally. But before they're down the track, they're doing and saying things that are questionable and maybe not really verifiable by science or proven to be good psychological help, or the thing that we've seen happens all the time. Someone starts out in an area that they're knowledgeable in, and then they veer out of their lane,
Yeah.
And now they're going to give advice not just on nutrition, but on relationships. And they have no background in psychology to do that. So, I think that's something that often happens.
Yeah. Yeah. We just did a whole podcast about that. Self-help gurus who, started out as one thing and then became something else, or like, we talked about celebrity self-help gurus. So people who became famous
today, actually,
for one thing. Yes, exactly. That's right. That dropped today. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And
so on that note, go ahead.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I get that. Like, something I think about a lot is like, so when I'm crafting messages for my internet presence, like I think a lot about like, okay, like what's my lane? Like, so I'm as a therapist, like I'm a specialist in trauma and addiction. I happen to know a lot about ADHD because I have to manage my own, and
you got it.
And not to be so emphatic about that, Ginny. Like,
it's pretty obvious, Glenn.
Everyone on this call can attest that I've got it. Yes. And my girlfriend has it, and the kids have it, and whatnot. So I know a lot about ADHD, but do I have the training and the expertise and the credential to say, and by the way, here's what you do about the ADHD? But I've noticed this, like there's a couple of years ago, I ran into this thing on Twitter where this, where a psychologist who was trying to build a social media presence was basically plagiarizing my posts. Like she'd take my posts and she kind of reword them a little bit and put them out there as her original material. And look, it's the internet and that kind of thing is going to happen. What you're going to do. But what killed me was I watched her evolve from a neuropsychologist. This is in her Twitter bio, from a neuropsychologist to then she added like, plus I'm an ADHD specialist. Oh yeah. Plus I'm a trauma specialist. I'm like, can you can that spontaneously just happen? Like you evolve in your Twitter bio? Like, I mean, I wonder what specialties I have that I didn't know about. But that's kind of the thing. I might have smart things to say about ADHD. In fact, I kind of suspect that I do. But there's a line where I got to say, okay, look, it's part of the Seek Safely Promise. If you go to our Facebook page, and we've got the Seek Safely Promise up there on the cover image. But one of the tenets of the Seek Safely Promise is, practitioners have to delineate in their material what is coming from their education and what is coming from their, like, what is just their opinion versus coming from, anecdotal evidence, etc.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it. Like, I think it's valid for you to then share, about your personal experience. This is my experience. But then especially as a person in a position of authority with, psychology and mental health, it's important. It's, your responsibility to make it very clear. This is not, I'm not a specialist in this, but this is just my experience. Maybe it'll be helpful or interesting or thought-provoking to you, but I'm not giving you an answer or a prescription here. This is just, food for thought kind of thing.
So in most of my professional career, I did a lot of parenting education and tremendous amount of reading and study and coursework, getting clinical degree in social work. However, even sharing information that I knew was correct and verifiable, I would always say to parents, but you have to see if this works for you, because everybody is different. And what might work for one person might not work for another. I'm asking you to think about it, maybe give it a chance, but you have to decide for yourself whether this works for your family. And I think as a therapist myself, I have a small private practice here in Westtown. I feel the same thing applies. I'll say to my clients when they come in, give me a chance for a couple of sessions to see if I get you and we kind of click. And if we don't, fire me and I'll help you find somebody else to talk to, because the therapeutic relationship certainly is a unique one. And I think people stay with the wrong therapist for too long. Right. And, it's almost like a breakup or something. It's like finding a new hairdresser. so I think, again, in the self-help world, that caveat is not out there. It doesn't say this might work for you, but not for somebody else. It's like, this is the thing.
Yeah. Well, ambiguity
universal law.
And you're going to get fast results. And, it's been proven by the universe and all of that kind of stuff.
And if you don't get fast results, fast guaranteed results, whose fault is it?
Yeah, then you're really a screw up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You didn't try hard enough. You didn't study enough. You didn't do enough. Right.
You didn't want it enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And I think from a therapeutic approach, it's always encouraging people to discover their own internal strengths and giving them some insight into what's happening so they can find their own solutions, not me telling them what to do. So it's a very different approach in terms of trying to help. But I think when people are insightful and people respond to that, it's easy for them to think that they know more than they know and try to do more than they can do. And then it's not fair to the consumer.
Oh, big time.
To the client.
And again, something that is real important to understand about the industry. And I know Gene and I sound like a broken record on our podcast because we say this all the time, but something that's important to understand about the industry is, as far as the industry is concerned, what we're talking about, that sense of rock solid certainty, this is universal law. These are principles that have been time honored. And if they don't work for you, it's your fault. Mm-hmm. That message is, as far as the industry is concerned, is a feature, not a glitch. Mm-hmm. Like, one of the reasons why I've finally accepted that I'm never going to make that sweet, sweet Tony Robbins money is, if you take a guy who says the same stuff as me, AI Dr. Doyle, take AI Dr. Doyle who says the same stuff as me, but doesn't include all the stuff that I say about your recovery is yours. It is an idiosyncratic project, right? Like, my recovery is not yours. The stuff, take what's useful, don't take like. But if you took a version of me that didn't say any of that stuff and said, look, I know the principles of trauma recovery, the rock solid principles of trauma recovery, they work for everybody. If they don't work for you, it's your fault. That version is going to actually be in the marketplace more popular. Mm-hmm. Because if you compare a guy saying, I got the universal truth versus a guy saying, well, it works for some, it doesn't work for others, figure it out on your own, right? People, especially people who are vulnerable and people who are in pain, like, of course, I don't blame them. Like, of course, they want the certainty. They want the universal laws and principles, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So as far as the industry is concerned, like, that effed up incentive structure works. And it's one of the reasons why, like, our message, that's one of the reasons why our podcast is never going to be the Joe Rogan experience. Gosh darn it. I did my best. I shaved my head. I tried to be Rogan, but sadly we're not there yet. But that's because, again, like our message is always going to be one of tap the brake. Do some thinking about this, actually. Mm-hmm. Like, don't buy into this thing that there are universal laws and principles and whatnot. Like, and that message is never quite going to resonate in the broader marketplace as much as I've got the answer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think there's something, about the business of self-help, like so many of the people who get into it, and why so much of the material within the industry is all about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
These people think of themselves often as entrepreneurs, as business owners, small business owners.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get into it because they want that kind of ownership over their time and their effort.
Of course.
And so, I think whereas when you're, a licensed professional, and we have acknowledged many times that just because somebody has a license doesn't mean they're going to act ethically. You can have some really scummy therapists out there, psychologists and whatnot. They exist.
Yep.
But I think just generally there's something about the fact that when you've gone through education, you've built your life, you've become certified, and you're licensed by a board, it's your career. And that's kind of becomes a fixed thing in your life. Whereas I think for a lot of the people who get into self-help, they're the type of people who might like to try things out, try different things. Again, they're in that entrepreneurial mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't push it as far as they can to make as much money as possible, then there's nothing there. Like if you haven't built that business, you don't have clients, you don't have people, buying your next masterclass, there's not really anything there. Whereas when you're a licensed person who's kind of built your whole life around this, you're still a therapist, even if you're, between practices or something. I think that there's something in the mindset there that is a little bit different as well. And it makes it easier for people who are in the self-help world to kind of slide between things a little bit, try things out over here, try things out over there, see what works. Because it's not as fixed an idea of exactly who or what you are and what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I would never attempt to give nutritional advice. I might say to someone, someone mentioned to me this resource that had good information about nutrition, but I'm not going to say, no, I'm an expert in that.
Right. And that kind of ethical accountability is part of your training.
Right.
So yeah, with some of the things that we're offering, what we recognize is that kind of ethical training it does not exist in the self-help industry. So we're trying to offer it, in the small ways that we can. So that's what, the Safe Practitioners Workshop is really all about, is just trying to help the people who really want to do good work. And yes, of course, you want to build a business, you want to be successful, but you've got to give yourself some parameters so that you're going to operate in an ethical way.
You bet.
Yeah.
Not infrequently, somebody posts on my social media pages about the importance of diet to healing trauma and mental illness and these kinds of things. And I have rules for, like, if you're going to post on my page, if you're going to reply to my comments, you can't be showing a product. Like, please don't use my page to, because I can't vet those things. Like, I can't. Mm-hmm. Right. So I block people who do that, but every now and then somebody, or more than every now and then, like pretty regularly, like folks come in and like, now the big thing, I think we talked about this on the podcast. Now the big thing is it's all about inflammation and how a keto carnivore diet
is everything. Yeah.
Supposedly makes you far less vulnerable to mental health symptoms and these kinds of things. And here's the thing. I'm open to that conversation. I really am. Like I do, dude. I'm one of these self-help people. Like we've, Gene and I have talked a lot on the podcast about that self-help mentality of like, maybe, right? Maybe there's a universal law of attraction that if I think about a nice car, I'll have a nice car. Maybe I like that idea. I'm going to explore that. Okay. I'm going to be open to it. I'm a self-help guy. So sure, like, the keto diet cures bipolar disorder, I'm interested, but am I prepared to weave that into things that I learned in my training and things that I've learned at, being a practice. Well, no, like I can't, it's not that that I'm not interested or I'm not open to that conversation. It's that I have, like my page says Dr. Glenn Patrick Doyle, right? Like I'm leveraging my credential and my license as a form of credibility. And here's the thing, I'll bet you bet I could throw together say it's a workshop, how the keto diet cures complex trauma, and it would do very well. But that's exactly the kind of thing that, as I mentioned a few moments ago, the industry incentivizes, but it's kind of on us to kind of draw that boundary and say, this is not safe seeking here. This is not good for anybody, ultimately.
So, as Ann Peterson has pointed out, one of the things she finds very important about the work we do is that there's a lot of people out there that are questioning self-help and are concerned about it, but no one else is talking about what can be done about it. No one else is talking about how to practice more safely and ethically, and also how to help consumers to advocate for themselves a little bit better and maybe make choices. So one of the things that has happened this year that I think is really important, we're soon to launch Jean's Compass. So Jean, maybe you could mention a little bit about that, because I think that's a huge development.
Yeah, so we have had this tool around for a little while. We've done a couple of workshops with it, and we'd like to do more. If we have people who are interested in it. So basically, it's just a tool to help people really map out their the things that are important to them, their values, their goals, the assets that they're already bringing to the table, and their vulnerabilities, to kind of really map these things out before you get involved with some kind of self-help resource. And the idea is to try to give you, some touch points that you can hold on to so you don't completely lose yourself in this quest to change, quest to improve, because that's what we see happen with a lot of consumers. You get involved in something, you are encouraged to go all in on it. And then before you know it, you're really losing things that were always important to you. And it kind of, it becomes disorienting. And that's how you can, get kind of led astray when you've been taken away from all of these things that are important to you. So that's really what that's about. So yeah, we've done the workshops, and then we've been exploring different ways to be able to offer it to people, not just through a workshop, but so we did actually make a pretty cool notebook this year that we just need to actually get printed so that people can purchase it. And then we want to also make it available to people, in very inexpensive ways as well, because of course we want to make money as well to support the organization, but we care more about really, helping the people who are looking for it. So
yeah, our goal is education, and our need for donation is to help us to be able to continue to educate, not for this to run into a Fortune 500 organization.
We also want to get the board president a yacht. No, I forget it. The thing that I like the best about the Compass tool. So again, the Seek Safely Compass Gang is a tool that we developed that, like our mission as an org has always been consumer focused, right? Like it's all about educating and supporting the people who actually use self-help services and products and stuff to make intelligent, values guided decisions. And the thing that because it's our hypothesis that as folks get deep into certain self-help ecosystems, it's real easy to lose yourself. And by the way, every time I hear the words "lose yourself," like Eminem starts playing in my head, lose yourself in the music, the moment. My my future stepdaughter is a huge Eminem fan. She'll appreciate that reference. But anyway, what I really love about the compass is it offers some hands-on guidance and tools for how to make intelligent decisions, specifically when it comes to risk. Every time we get into a self-help thing, even if it's just reading a book, we're taking a little bit of a risk. We're suspending disbelief. We're giving the author or the presenter the opportunity to influence us. And very often, especially as you get deeper into an ecosystem, like you're going to somebody's events, right? Or you're paying for their program, for their ongoing program, a subscription or something like that. Those are progressively more risks. They're financial risks. They're emotional risks. Sometimes they're very physical risks, right? And it's not always clear, like, so when you've allowed yourself to be influenced, and again, that's not bad. You should allow yourself to be influenced. Again, you should make those decisions wisely and values congruently and all these things. But it can be unclear as to whether we're making that decision vis-a-vis risk from a place that's really congruent with our authenticity, or have we allowed ourselves to be influenced, to a degree that may not be helpful for us. And what the compass does is it really clarifies that in a hands-on kind of step-by-step way. So I love this tool, and I love that we're kind of finally in a position to distribute it more widely and kind of make it more part of what we offer
more
folks.
Available.
Yeah.
More available. Really, really important. So I think, again, this past year, a big change has just been our collaboration with Anne. We're looking forward to doing an actual day, a summit. This is something that we've talked about for a long time. I had tried to do a Seek Safely summit. I did one in Sedona, and we tried to do one in San Diego, bringing people together, both practitioners as well as consumers, again, to educate, to learn, to have this discussion. And the time wasn't right. There were no takers. There was no interest. I got, very, very limited response. But now, I think more has come up in the last couple of years. There's been stuff on documentaries about different people, their experience, different organizations. So the appetite has changed, and I think we're really able to now move beyond us, and I want to say beyond me in many ways. And I feel like this is the year of just handing this over to you two of our board to really carry this forward and really see this as a movement, and no longer the mom and pop shop that we have been kind of up to this moment. So for me, this is a huge, I feel like this is my graduation year. I've been trying to leave slowly, and now life is calling me, saying, "You have no choice. You have no."
So yes, the summit. We did a summit last year. It's virtual. We hope at some point we can try to make an in-person version, but yeah, I think now one of the things is that we have a lot of people in our, we've filled our Rolodex, our contacts list. We have a lot of people now that we've connected with that are talking about related issues or the same issues. We have collaborators now, whereas when we tried to do this earlier, we just hadn't made those connections yet.
Right.
And so it was really hard to get a group of people together to talk about something substantive, whereas now we have that. So yeah, we have our summit is scheduled this year for November 8th. It's a Saturday. It's kind of an all-day event with a lineup of speakers. So keep an eye on our socials and our website. We'll have more information about that coming up, who you can expect to see, and then how you can join us for that. And again, like we sell tickets for it. We do need to have some money to actually run the show, but we do make it accessible to people as well. You can also, if you're not able to join us live, you're able to get access to the recordings of the event. So yeah, November 8th.
So the Seek Summit. By the way, Ginny Brown never tires of telling the stories of how few people were interested in previous years' Seek Summits. And I keep telling her, Ginny, that's not, tell that story to us, not to the world. Anyway, it's okay. It's all right. No, but this last year, and I'm glad we're talking about this, because that was a big thing for our organization.
Yeah.
If you follow our stuff, you know that well, I'll put it this way, you probably also follow the work of Sarah Edmondson and Nippy Ames over at A Little Bit Colty. Like, me and Gene were on their podcast a couple years ago.
Yeah.
You're probably really familiar with the collapse of Nexium. And so you probably got a lot out of me and Gene's episode with India Oxenberg. We've kind of picked up along the way, as you guys say, enough people who resonate with our mission. Frequently, they're coming out of that cult recovery space. Mm-hmm. Because this is not a coincidence. Most cults start out as self-improvement opportunities, right? Mm-hmm. Like even good old Scientology early on bills itself as, come into Scientology. We'll give you skills. We'll give you communication skills. It's a self-help opportunity. So anyway, what the first Seek Summit last year ended up being was a day of virtual conversations between these people frequently in the cult recovery space. Sarah and Nippy showed up, myself and Rachel Bernstein, who's really recognizable from the Nexium, like India Oxenberg's Seduced documentary series. Therapist on there. Anyway, and other folks who had been voices often in this anti-coercive control environment. And so we had this great day of presentations and conversations. And I remember looking at the lineup thinking, man, they got a bunch of great presenters and me. Thinking to myself that this is, I know we are constitutionally incapable of not apologizing when we ask for money. But as I was looking at that lineup, I'm like, I would pay for this. Yeah. Get that Doyle guy out of there. And it's a great lineup. And we're looking to repeat it here in I guess next month. So like even if you have a passing interest in this stuff, whether it is recovery from cults, coercive control, manipulation, this is where a lot of really interesting conversations happen. Now, something I would like, and in a couple nights, our live stream is going to be all about the future. But I can give you a preview of coming attractions as a licensed psychologist in 3 states. Something that I would really like is if we could go beyond these presentations that are already just really interesting and educational, and start offering like continuing education credits, for folks who have therapy licenses and these kinds of things. Because, man, my observation is most folks who find their way to me as a therapist, and again, I'm a pretty specialized guy, so usually by the time somebody finds their way to me, I'm not their first therapist they've tried, and not even the first trauma therapist they've tried. But usually by the time someone has made their way to me, they've also invested in some kind of self-help product or service, a coach, a tape program, something like that. It is pretty rare that somebody is motivated enough to do therapy that hasn't already tried some sort of self-help stuff. And very often they've been burned. Like very often they the least of their problems is like, okay, I feel like I wasted money on an ineffective program. Right. Up to and including, I feel like I was really financially exploited and maybe emotionally exploited, et cetera, et cetera. Therapists need to know about this stuff. They need to know about the specific risks that come with engagement with the self-help industry, at least as it is now. I mean, hopefully the legislative efforts, you can talk about this, like, the stuff that we're pushing in terms of legislative action items
Mm-hmm.
will make the landscape of the industry a little friendlier for consumers.
Yeah.
But until then, I think that it's real important to connect with therapists and to connect with coaches and to connect with, folks who are on this side of the practitioner divide, and really teach and educate and support in terms of how to do this work. Not perfectly, like no one's asking to do perfectly. I hope no one's asking me to do it perfectly, because good luck with that one. But ethically, transparently, accountably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And then one of the other things that we did again this year, trying to expand those connections some more, and also just keeping us part of the conversation as you talk about cults. I did go to the cult conference again this year, the International Cultic Studies Association conference. It was in Montreal, so I didn't have to go far. For me, it was a nice.
Jean usually, so whenever there is an event, like, it's usually Jean that travels to speak at these events, and so she's had to take the hit for the team guys. She had to go to Spain 1 year to present at this conference. She had to go present in Cancun, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was rough.
Jean has to take the hit for the team sometimes.
So yeah, this year Montreal,
it was just down the road,
which was
for
fun.
you this year.
It was the Jazz Fest in Montreal at that time. It was lovely.
You're so it's noble to take the hit.
Yeah, I know. I'm just so selfless.
Yeah. But your presentation went well. Like it was awesome.
It went really well. I was really happy. I think it was the biggest audience I've had, because for the last couple of years I'm like the weird self-help girl at the cult conference. But I try to put that into context about like why I'm there, why I'm, entering the conversation. So this year, one of the main themes of the conference was media, the role of the media. And it was interesting because there were other themes to the they had like 3 different kind of primary themes that they were trying to have the speakers touch on. Not many people chose the media route. But I was like, well, I have a story to tell about the role of the media.
No joke.
So, given that Seek's origin largely starts with Oprah.
We got to do a whole episode about that.
Yeah. Yes. I could. So I had a great audience, including the president of ICSA. She sat in on my presentation, and afterwards she was just like, I didn't actually really know your whole story. This was great. Like, she was really happy with the presentation. So that was very cool. And I had great feedback. And I was able to just talk about the fact that, yes, I think in many ways, as Ginny was saying, our mission has taken on more relevance in this landscape where there's a lot about culty stuff out there these days. And when we're able to make that connection for people between self-help and cults, they see it very quickly. Like, I just need to say a couple things, throw a couple graphics up there, and people go, oh, yeah. And so, I was able to talk about that, and then just say, I feel like the next step for the media is to try to make that connection for people a little bit clearer. Because right now, I think we can still look at a lot of the culty things and think like, oh, this is fascinating. People are fascinated by the cult stuff. Right. But to make them understand why it's important for everybody to learn about it and to, take in this kind of knowledge that we're offering and start asking the questions that we're encouraging people to ask. Right. I think there's a role for the media to take it to that next step now. So that's what I was presenting on.
Right.
Yeah. It was cool.
I want you to know that, Jean, right now in my phone, your contact name is J Beans. It's Jean's nickname, J Beans. I'm going to change it to Weird Self-Help Girl at the Cult Conference. It's going to all fit into the... You have a new message from the Weird Self-Help Girl at the Cult Conference.
Yeah.
Look, I think in terms of the other thing with that we've done this last year with the org, like we keep alluding to the podcast. So we rattled off some stats near the top of this hour about organizations and how hard it is to keep an organization going. A bit of that is reflected in the podcast. It is hard to keep a podcast going.
Yes.
It is particularly hard to to keep a podcast going that, we're not actually looking to build, like I joked about being Joe Rogan, but we're actually not looking to build a podcast empire. Like our podcast is almost exclusively educational. Every now and then we get some pressure to, hey guys, you guys should be like these YouTubers who expose the grifters and talk about scandals and whatever. And we talk a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But most of what we talk about really is very directly educational content about how this industry works and the risk factors and what the science say and these kinds of things. And as a result, we're never going to be the watch. I should not speak this into existence. I was about to say, we're never going to be like Spotify is never going to acquire our podcast for $1 million.
But we're open to it, Spotify.
We're open to it, Spotify. We truly are. But here's the thing. So you guys know, if you listen to podcasts, I listen to a lot of podcasts. You've probably heard ads for, say, BetterHelp. The app-based therapy. We don't take ads like that, not because we don't want money, but because we've identified issues with that platform, right? Like we take that really seriously. Like we take what we're endorsing with our presence and this following that, again, it's relatively small in the grand scheme of things, but we have worked hard to earn it. And we have worked hard to earn our credibility and trust with our audience. All of which is to say, we are still here after several years now, because we started this, in 20, I want to say during the pandemic. So 2020, wasn't it, Jean?
Yeah, I think so.
So we've been doing this pod for 5 years. We continue to put out consistent episodes. We continue to find things to talk about. We hold on to our core audience, and man, I'm really proud of this product that we put together. Like it's real easy for podcasts to just end. It's real easy for podcasts, even good ones. Like how many times I really used to enjoy this podcast and now it's no longer a thing.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're still cranking it out, I think really speaks to just the loyalty of our folks, hopefully to the effort of the hosts and our amazing producer, Will, at Citizens of Sound.
Yeah.
We're really proud of that.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Guys, I think I checked off my checklist.
I think it's been a good year.
It's been a good year. Yeah.
It's been a decent year.
Always looking to keep going. And we're very grateful for all of the people. We have some people who really have been with us for a long time. And then some people who we've picked up in the last few years who continue to show up. So we're so grateful to all of you who join us for these things.
Talking to you, commenters. Talking to you, commenters. Whose names we recognize.
And so that is a huge way that you can support us, is just listening to us. You can also share our content, anything that you find really interesting, useful, thought-provoking. Share it with your people, especially that person who is always telling you about a new self-help book or podcast or something that they picked up. Share our stuff with them. And if it is possible for you, we do always appreciate your financial help as well. So there is a QR code over here, right there. Thank you. Yeah, right? See, it's hard, guys. Sorry. It's hard.
Although the image is reversed, right?
That's right.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
I just noticed the Seek logo is right there. I didn't
up here. Yeah, that's on you. So yes, you can hit the QR code. That'll take you to a donation page. You can donate through Facebook. You can donate through Instagram. We have the link in our bio. And on our website, if you scroll down there, you'll see the donate as well.
As
if it's possible, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say you can make like a monthly contribution. Even a little bit every month is super helpful, or a one-time donation, as little as it could be, as big as it could be. We're grateful for anything. So
we have our consistent sponsors that have been wonderful, over the years.
Yes.
I will even say right now, if you throw, I don't know, how much is one episode of the podcast? Did we ever establish that?
It's around usually it's around $250.
If you throw $250 toward us and you earmark it for the podcast, like if you let us know that this is for the podcast production cost specifically, Gene and I will talk about whatever you want for an hour. We'll do it.
Yeah.
And maybe you could sing to the person, or
we will absolutely do that.
Do the podcast on their birthday.
I'll make that deal with you right now, gang. I'll do it.
Okay.
So we were talking a few minutes ago. Maybe we can close with this. We were talking a few minutes ago. Ginny was talking about how she used to do trainings and stuff about parenting. And I got to tell you guys, since I became involved with Seek Safely, like in 2017-ish, I think it was 2016, 2017. I think I've been on the board since maybe 2018. And then board president in 2022-ish, I think. So I've had the opportunity to hang out at the Brown House a lot. And so if you show up at the Brown House, one of the things I love about being at George and Ginny Brown's house, by the way, shout out to George. I know he can hear us. Hey, George. One of the things I love about being at the Brown House is George and Ginny are both therapists, and they've been therapists forever. George Brown in particular has the best stories of his career as a therapist. He's worked with 9/11 first responders. Like, he's done amazing things. But the house, guys, when I tell you it is full of books about psychology and therapy and interesting things in the behavioral sciences. And I showed up at their house and I'm like, this looks like my house. I love this. And I stay when I happen upon Westtown, and I stay there. They've got this attic room, and I tell George and Ginny, you don't understand. My retirement plan is to live in your attic with all these books and Gene's old dollhouse. And anyway, so I was looking through George and Ginny's books, and there are a lot of parenting books because this is a thing that Ginny used to present on a lot. And I came across a book that said, Parenting the Strong-Willed Child. And I took a picture of it. Gene, I don't know if you remember this. I took a picture of it and I texted Gene with just like the eyeballs, like, I wonder who this was growing up. But then I realized it could be any of them, actually. Like
all four of our children? Yes.
Any of them. So
I was great. I was the best one. Well, maybe Bobby. But
maybe we could devote a whole podcast.
You were the best one in the family. Well, yes. I think it's interesting, that book, The Strong-Willed Child, and then it was the concept was I want to say reframed as the spirited child, because strong-willed didn't sound like a good description. And working with parents was just one of the greatest things ever for me. I loved that so much. And I did a lot of mom and me groups and set them up in different places in the New York area. And parents, this is the hardest job we're ever going to do, but it's the most rewarding as well as the most aggravating job you will ever do. And to help people understand it's a vocation. It's more than just a job, and it's a lifetime. It's a lifetime. It's not something you ever walk away from. You're always a parent, and you're always going to be concerned about your kids, no matter how old they are, even if they don't want you to be concerned about them. Right?
Luckily, I'll never have to think about such things. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Forever, I was the one member of our board that didn't have kids. And, oh, well. All right, gang. Thank everybody for tuning in. We love you guys. I know a subset of folks are here from my page. I will, after we end our live stream here, I'm going to take maybe 10 or 15 minutes and then head back over to the Dr. Glenn Doyle Facebook page, and we'll do a Facebook Live, and we'll talk about some trauma and recovery and try and raise a few more shekels for Seek Safely. But thank you for everyone for tuning in. Thank you for listening to our podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for
and
reading
we'll be
our
back
stuff.
Tomorrow.
And we will be back tomorrow.
With
tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, we've got Self-Help Geek Off with Dr. Doyle and Dr. Christine.
With our conspicuously absent Dr. Christine Whelan. See, I know I can say this about her because she's not even watching. She's spending time with her family. Come on, Christine. Christine Whelan texts us a couple hours ago and says, well, guys, this is really my last night with my family before this. And would you mind if I didn't do the live stream? And I'm like, family.
Well, we're a family-friendly organization.
We are.
Here.
Christine, we love you. Tomorrow night, the live cast will be, for the Seek Week live cast, will be me and Christine. So Christine and I are the resident self-help geeks here at Seek Safely. So we will be talking about our favorite and least favorite self-help personalities and books and materials. And this is always, I think, my favorite night.
Very entertaining. So please tune in.
So tune in tomorrow night.
I didn't have
here.
any more questions to ask you guys. And then I just had a brainwave the other day and thought of a whole bunch of great questions that I had never asked. And I was like, all right, we got this. It's going to be fun.
Love it. My favorite question from last year's Geek Off, I think, was if you had to be stranded on a desert island with one self-help guru, who would it be? And everyone was expecting me to say Tony Robbins. And I'm like, no, give me Tim Ferriss. He knows how to do everything. And Christine was like, I know him. I'm like, okay, we are the geeks.
Of course.
Anyway.
All right,
gang.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Ciao, ciao.
All right. Thanks, my contributors as well. Good night, Dr. Glenn, Dr. Ginny. Mom Ginny.
Mom Ginny. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Good night.